You know, we really should do something about Putin and the anti-LGBT Olympic business going on right now.
I have an idea.
You're blue and you don't know where to go to. Why don't you go where Harlem says? Putting on the Ritz.
Coming up on Linux Gamecast Weekly, Valve brings the beats. Linus gives Nvidia the finger, Octodad gains control, and we invade XBMC. Then we throw the chairs, and Saturday morning, RPG. All this, plus your hate mail. Let's go. And welcome back to another Linux Gamecast Weekly, the show that covers the latest Linux gaming news, reviews, how-tos, and most importantly, whatever the hell else we come up with. I'm Vince Stone at LGC Actual, running the board, switching the things, doing the business. Joining me every week, this man, this myth, this legend, Master Svang, from his studio, Hobbity Hole, in Canada.
Yes. I live underground. I'm like a jockey.
Bitch,
Though I don't have
explain to me again, how
street.
come you're not a hobbit?
Oh, no, because I was a friend named Gandalf.
Right.
But that's just a coincidence.
All right, love you.
And that pipe I smoke is just like my oral humidifier.
And also, all the way from Portugal, the giggling death, Portuguese rage. He's known by many names, but
The one and only.
Foo-foo poofy schmoofs.
yes, Boom Boom Kitty Fuck.
Poofy
Also,
schmoops. I like that one.
he is there, and together we form a bit of a cocaine Voltron with Boom Linux Gamecast. Tell them about us, J-Man.
Yeah, you can find us at linuxgamecast.com. Click on that form button and sign up with any account to join in the madness. We also have a Facebuds page, a YouTube page that is still miraculously still online. And of course, if you want more Linux gaming debauchery, you can check out Linux_gaming, the world famous subreddit that looks like a website coded in 1997. But anyways, if you want to support this horrific nonsense, you can click on our podcast page, join the glorious Linux PC Gaming Master Race, the one-time donation of $10 or $3.50. Or if you want a producer credit, we'll give you, if you give us, $10 a month, $3.50 a month, you get your name at the end of this episode so that the rest of the world can know what poor taste in podcasts you actually have.
Brilliant.
But you know what? If you don't have any money, you can always just spread the word. Go into a hospital for elderly people and force them to watch Linux Gamecast. Maybe burn down an orphanage and say that we inspired you to do it. Or you can be like this guy, who I don't know. Ven will tell you about him.
Boom! Check this out. Look at the XBMC on Ryochan 7. He pooped over in Chat Realm Static, and he said, I don't know if anyone here uses XBMC, but I thought I would share a quick add-on that I made for Linux Gamecast content. It has been tested on Fedora 20 and BoxyBox. So, that's a thing.
Yep.
Yeah. It hooks into our RSS feed and pulls the latest episode every week.
Yeah, that seems to be. It pulls the.
So you can watch us on your television set.
Oh no, it's like we're real boys. But something I always want to add that he has definitely added an option for HD feeds as well, so you're not going to be stuck with your standard SD. That's brilliant. Always a good thing. But we all have our headphones on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I heard that horse is getting down with it.
Yeah. Drop the bass, it's our scene!
Linux!
Update
Of the week. Don't hurt yourself, Pedro. Oh, man, what is this business, P-Man?
Welcome back to 1997, Steam. You can now do the equivalent of having When I'm Playing in the background while you're gaming. Yes, this is Steam music.
And that's kind of the
Excellent.
story.
I can continue doing what I'm already doing, listening to other music while playing video games.
No, seriously,
Yep.
is that
What
all?
is this sorcery?
Steam Music will soon be in a limited oh, we got to delve this out. Big picture mode with a desktop interface to follow. Beta participants will be randomly selected from members of whoever we feel like. Join now and express your interest. They mean beg. Please share your thoughts and feedback. My thoughts, feedback. Yeah.
I can just have VLC running.
Or
Yeah, VLC, Audacious, XMMS,
Banshee,
anything.
Rhythm Box,
Real
Conqueror.
player.
Not Conqueror, what's the other one? Starts with a K. Amarok, that's it.
starts with a K. Amarok.
Caffeine.
Ends with a K, starts
Probably
with a
meant
K,
caffeine.
So that's
I
the
need
thing.
coffee.
Not really interested in this.
Yeah, I guess I could see what they're trying to do. They're trying to make the client handle everything the operating system would normally handle. Instead, it's all condensed into Steam, so you don't need anything else when you're on SteamOS.
Well,
Which
I
makes sense.
actually get putting a music player into big picture mode. You know what I'd get more? A native port of Quickster. I mean, Netflix or whatever it's called now. That would be just fantastic.
But you know what? I think I have some perfect background music for when you're in your hour 9 of your Secret of the Magic Crystals
Oh, really?
playthrough. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Thunder Horse by Death Clock, but I don't figure you're going to play it.
No,
so.
I don't.
Moving on! It looks like the folks at Octodad have listened to our complaints, or really their users' complaints, and through the magic of simple direct media layer 2, Xbox controllers actually work while playing Octodad, and I gave this another shot this week. And with proper controller support, it is actually pretty fun. So I would have given it a better score, actually. It was 2 chairs. I may have given it a 3 chair if they had their shit fixed at launch and had people not have to pay money for a broken-ass game.
Well, I'm going to follow with you on that. I definitely said, we gave it an asteroid, an asterisk, or whatever that thing's called. It would have been a 2-chair game had this worked out of the box. And, I've had some people contact us about the review, and they're like, well, now that they fixed it, that does nothing. We spent, 30 quid on it a week ago, and it was busted.
And
Yep.
if it's busted on release, and we did our review on release, we're not gonna go back and change it.
Yeah.
Unless
The
you pay
review
us.
is a snapshot.
So,
Unless you pay us.
Indeed.
Yar! Oh, I was actually very, as Pedro is one to do, he contacted me via email like a giggling Catholic schoolgirl who just had sex for the first time but does not yet know she's pregnant, saying, look, I have keys for this. And I was like, oh, joy of othering joys, a point-and-click adventure. Wow, I haven't seen one of these in 2 weeks. So we have Nightmares from the Deep, Cursed Heart. Tell me about it, P-Man. Never heard of it.
Yeah, it's from what are these guys called? Artifacts Mundi. The game, it's imagine one of those really old point and click adventure games where you have frame by frame animations,
Mist.
like with the yeah, like we discussed
A
last week
sequel to
with that
Mist.
other game I can't remember.
Exile Mist 3.
Yeah.
Uncanny Valley, the game.
Yeah, the character animations are a bit simple.
She's gonna eat us.
But it's a very good point-and-click adventure game. At the start of the game, you get the choice between casual mode and expert mode. I started on casual, and things make sense. The story flows naturally, and it kept me interested.
Didn't you write some sort of article about this?
Yes, I did. In fact, it's on LinuxGameCast.com.
So I see here in Chat Realm, the fourth part of this train wreck, Mad Eye says, yes, Mahjong. What do you even call it?
Obviously you've never watched Legend of Koizumi, where Hitler goes Super Saiyan and fights the Pope in a game of Mahjong.
So, that's a thing. I actually enjoyed it because it's not like they were trying too hard. I mean, if somebody had told me that this had been made circa 95, 96, and they've just updated it to a new engine and released it, I would buy it. Because, it's not trying like overhyped hipster pixel crap. On regular mode, there's no game. There's hints everywhere and all that. But if you put on expert mode, about the Mahjong, that's like, oh, you could do a little work or play this game and earn your. And I was like, how? I don't know. Logic skip on that one for me, anyway. So we go from something that's kind of cool, and that's also available 25% off right now. So that's $524.
Yep.
Put that.
Or
if you
euros.
enjoyed like the old Phantasmagoria series, kind of reminds me of that.
I want order a pizza, extra sauce.
Right. So let's go to something that's kind of cool to shit. I mean, like, boo.
Complete
Bad developer.
ass backwards shit.
So this is interesting. This is some sort of Contra clone thing, but really the real issue is that it's a wine port.
What?
Shock
Yep.
among shocks.
No. What's wine? I've never heard of it.
Well, wine is this sort of compatibility layer that sits in between Linux and a Windows application and translates Windows system calls into Linux system calls.
So it's kind of like an API type thingy.
A little bit, yeah.
All right, I'm with you. So what's so bad about it being on Linux, man? I mean, what's the big deal? Can we just get along, man?
It's not native code. How about that?
Nope.
So basically, what you're saying is, instead of like taking the time to port the game,
Or just use a cross-platform toolkit and, just recompile.
like mono
so
game.
it's kind of like they don't want to do any of the work, but they kind of want to double dip in the sales, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm following it. So yes, this is Oinkin. It doesn't matter what it says it is. Check this out. This business is all full of wine. No gamepad support. No cloud save. And seriously, I don't need a wine-wrapped minefield in my Steam store, so get this junk out of here. Do not buy it. And also,
Nope.
I would like your source code that you used to wrap your project in, because I'm pretty sure that falls under a license.
Some sort of
Open
new public license.
Yeah, something like that. You probably should legally have released that, so we can all take a look and just see how half-assed you did it, because I mean this game is broke. Even the Mac version has cloud save support. The gamepad, I mean, it's not just that it's a wine port, it's a busted wine port. Go ahead, get it out of your system.
Oh, no. I didn't know that the cloud saves actually worked in Mac.
Mm-hmm.
So we're getting shafted, basically, under Linux.
But
And really, the moral of the story is just don't buy wine ports.
right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Actually,
Stay the fuck
Vote with
away
your
from it.
wallets.
Honestly, I would say the moral of this particular story is there needs to be a big bring back mothering blink tag when it comes to a wine
Marquee
game.
tags.
Because there's going to be very few times. I mean, I've never bought something on. There have been times I was like, man, I don't really like my money back. If I buy something and it doesn't state that it's wine, I want my money back. I don't care if it's the best game in the world.
Yeah, that's false advertising.
Right.
Yep.
So, show me the papers.
Papers, please.
Glory to Arstotzka.
So, Lucas Pope, the developer, posted this little image on Twitter saying that on February 12th, amongst other things, we're going to get a Linux port of Papers, Please. This is a game I've been wanting to play for a while, because basically you play the border patrol and try to catch traitors and spies.
You're
That
not even the
sounds-
border patrol. You're just the guy that's standing in the
Immigra-
booth at the border.
Immigration guy, whatever. Same shit.
Yeah.
Right. Is that pretty much it?
That's pretty much it. But it's a lovely little satire piece, and I don't know, I'd very much like to play it. I've heard good things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
honestly,
I've
like,
really heard really good things.
no joke. I've heard of it, but I have no idea what it's about. So, Papers, Please. That's the thing. And when did they say that's going to come to our face organs?
February 12th.
So,
So 4 days from the recording of this
in
episode.
Spanish.
We might spend some time talking about it next week.
Oh, look! It even has Moonspeak in here. Portuguese. No.
Yes.
And
Glory
Russian
to
speaking.
Arstotzka.
So these guys kind of threw
These guys.
These
keys.
These guys are amazing. Not only did they give us 3 keys for a little racer street, they also actually ported the game themselves. They didn't hire anyone to do it for them, which kind of explains the crappy state the game came out in.
Yeah, this is...
You want to tell them about our little playthrough last night?
Expand, J-Man.
All right. So Ven and I gave this game a little bit of a try last night with a bit of the multiplayer. Ven spun out. I beat him by him being in 12th place and me being in 11th place. So the important thing is that I won.
Right.
Go me. I'm the wiener in this situation. But the game controls like shit, at least with an Xbox controller. For me, the menus are completely unaligned. Ven, you were saying something about choppiness. I didn't run into any of that.
It's a known problem. You've been seeing it on a bunch of distros. Even people I've talked to who put it into Linux, they're saying, "Oh, I'm noticing some lag," and they were like, "Oh, I thought it was my," they were playing it on calculators. But, we're running on a 770. I mean, it has, like, a jerk to it. I mean, that, it would be the type of gameplay I would give somebody to watch them just rage. Because even when we were playing last night, I was like, fuck it, I know I have no chance of doing anything. And I was like, screw it. And I was just doing donuts. And I was like, there's no way to keep up. But they are addressing that. And like P-Man said, they're doing all the work themselves. Pro tip, though, test your shit before you release it, because even though you gave us some free keys, there's a lot of people out there throwing money at you, and they want a functioning product. And be perfectly honest, maybe J-Man, P-Man, you have some idea about this. I've never used Steam on Windows or bought Windows games through Steam. Is that a common problem? Just have completely busted games that come out?
Back when I was on the Windows, not so much, but these days.
Yeah,
these days.
The Steam quality control has sort of taken a hit.
Sharp nosedive, let's call it.
Yeah, it's really bad. If you've been paying attention to Jim Sterling or Total Biscuit on the internet, they've addressed this, and those guys make a lot of sense with what they said. Steam quality control at this point does not exist. It's bad.
Oh, that was that video where they showed that zombie game we got in the multiplayer with after 3 hours.
Sky.
Sky.
That Sky, that thing.
We got a good half an hour's worth of gameplay on it.
After 3 hours. You guys weren't very excited about playing that. It was like the last thing we wanted to do when we finally got everyone in that room was play the game. I was like, fuck this game so much. All right.
Yep.
So... I think that horse is going to be ouncing off listening to its big screen music. But coming up next, now that we're done with it, and I'm sure it'll be back next week, is what, J-Man?
The news.
My day, things went wub, not oots.
And it's time that we put that horse back in its corner and we get into the news.
The news.
So, starting us off this week, Jordan, tell us about this guy.
Okay, so this guy, as you can tell by his face, is a gigantic asshole. You can see that giant gaping hole in the middle of his face, surrounded by the 2 cheeks. Yeah, very much an asshole. This guy gave a little interview on Tux Radar.
Who is this guy?
This guy is David Braben,
something like that.
He's the code monkey from Elite, right?
Something like that, yes. And he's talking about porting games to Linux. And he says, Linux is great because it's a truly open format. That's why we use it on the Raspberry Pi. We haven't supported Linux, historically do not sell as well on Linux as it does on other platforms, although figures are hard to come by. It's also easier to pirate games on Linux, apparently.
Clearly. I mean, just anytime you go to like the Pirate Bay and you search for a game, no window, no Mac. I mean, you got to go through like 6 pages of Linux titles.
Then you get to the Windows downloads with the cracks.
Yeah.
I mean, really, that's the crux of his article. He's saying that we don't develop games on Linux for stupid reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much.
And
yeah.
Here's stupid reason number 1, and here's stupid reason number 2.
Fantastic.
And
what?
For poor sales and piracy? Are you kidding me? On Linux? Have you paid attention to like Humble Bundles? Have you paid attention to Steam's market uptick? The fact
And
that there
his
are
excuse-
like 1.3 million Steam users out
Active.
there on Linux.
Yep.
What were you saying?
But yeah, his excuse
Paying for
with
every
this sort
game
of-
that comes out.
with this
Calm
sort of
down,
thing-
mama. All right.
Yeah, with this sort of thing, it comes down to numbers. The fragmentation is an issue too. Okay.
Steam lib.
I.e., the number of
Uh.
subtly different setups and OSs, making even the Windows PC appear pretty uniform. What the fuck are you talking about? Okay,
Steam runtime.
I've heard about developer misinformation, but I think this guy is just being ignorant on purpose.
I think this guy
negligent.
is taking a cue from the Rob Ford school of leadership and just smoking crack.
crack.
Remember, Chatroom, show titles, Rob Ford School.
Rob Ford school.
So, up next, P-Man Project
Up
of the Month,
next.
March 2014. Well, it says this is Linux Game Awards. What is this?
Yep, this is the LinuxGameAwards.org version of March Mayhem, which, if you read The Escapist, you may be well aware that it's usually that time at the start of the year where press likes to give out awards to games for some reason. And this one is dedicated to just open source Linux games. We have Alien Arena, Mind Test, Battle of Wesnoth, Blame Shift, Tales of Magiel, which gets my vote. If anyone has to win, is Tales of Magiel. No questions asked. And a couple others you may know, like Xenotic. That's
So
it.
basically, any well-played Linux game is on this list.
Yeah,
That has open
apparently.
Zontic, Westnorth, OpenTDD, OpenClock. Wow, that's an old one.
If you do
Mindcloud,
like apt-get or
Alien
yum
Arena.
search games, these are the things that show up.
So get over
Yeah.
there, vote on them. If you want to give them some ticks, we'll see what's going on with that. Should be interesting. But,
Blue furry cat people.
the world of Pandora, you may remember. But nay, this is not Pandora. Because these guys, they watched the Pandora project, and I was like, hey, Pandora guys, that's going to fail. It's overpriced and underpowered. Like, no, Pandora, and it was overpriced and it failed. These guys looked at that and went, brilliant! Let's build a company around this. And this is called DragonBox Pyra, successor of the Open Pandora, because, well, you got to give them, the stubborn lot. Welcome to the development. The Pyra will be a perfect pocket device, cell phone, everyday computing, gaming, emulation, or hacking. It's a unique combination of
Cell phone.
tablet, gaming handheld, and a mini. Oh wait, mini laptop. Wait, ow.
Netbook? Really?
Yeah, they just said we're making a small netbook, basically.
You remember
Yeah.
those really tiny Sony laptops
Oh yeah,
that
yeah.
like something like that?
They had
I
like
don't
Windows CE on them or some business.
know. Yeah,
right.
some shit.
But they do say, unlike most commercial devices out there, all steps in development and production will be posted in the blog, so you can even ask questions directly to us developers. So, over and under on this thing ever becoming a real boy. See, look, like I said, cell phone. It's a Cortex 8.
Nexus.
2 gigs of RAM, 1080p. That's not bad high quality speakers, because no one ever says low shit quality 10 speakers, which they all are. HDMI. Yeah, it looks like they've basically bought some Android boards. And
Yeah, this is an Android device, the Cortex A15. That's the Nexus 5.
Hey,
I'm
I
not mistaken.
have a what the fuck is this thing called again? Pyra. I have one right here. Oh wait, no, it's just a barometer.
Mm.
Yep.
So
Barometer.
that's the thing. Don't give this a finger, because Oh, wow.
Linus
This
gave
is-
Nvidia the finger again.
Keep going while I...
Well, while Ben sorts this
Van
out.
didn't cue that up.
Live! So, NVIDIA devs made some contributions to the nouveau open source NVIDIA driver code base, specifically revolving around their new, what's that thing
Initial
called?
support for the Tegra K1.
Tegra, that's the
Right.
word I'm thinking of. Basically, not support in the kernel for non-PCI based GPUs. That's basically it. And Linus is just like giving them the finger, which if you're not watching us is a thumbs up. Good on them for contributing a very, very small patch.
Well, I mean, this
to-
all comes back from, you remember last year, he famously,
Oh yeah, he
fuck you,
flipped
NVIDIA.
off.
like verbatim.
Fuck you, NVIDIA.
That was everywhere on the internet.
It's nice to see him giving a different type of figure. It's nice to see NVIDIA helping out. I mean, NVIDIA's already done tons, but hey, good on them.
Yeah.
So, P-Man, what the hell's Tammy? I mean, I know you've fallen in love with her, but I don't think she's really a
No,
girl.
I really have not. This is Tammy Heavy Industries, and it's a top-down third-person shooter along the lines of Livelink, if you remember that game. Except Livelink was actually first-person and had some proper graphics to it. This is more along the lines of Teleglitch, but with that
Pixels.
arena setting.
Right. Part of me wants to say this is DOSBox, but I know it's got to be Unity.
No, it's actually not Unity. It's the Construct 2 engine.
Huh.
Yeah, it's think Teleglitch, but without the actual adventuring or the story or anything that make Teleglitch
or the getting
remotely
surrounded by
interesting.
people and beaten to death.
Yeah, this is just boring arena top-down shooter. Okay, it's free, granted. So if this tickles your fancy, go right ahead. They have an alpha or a beta available for download on IndieDB, but the actual game won't be out until Q4 2014, according to their IndieDB page.
And if you're wondering, where do we keep all these moon links and stuff like that? If you're watching
Show
on the
notes.
tubes, show notes at LinuxGameCast.com. Trust me.
But you know what else needs some notes?
What's that?
CMake.
CMake. Man, CMake can get a
CMake.
bag of dicks. And I mean, I don't mean that in the good way. I mean like a greedy bag of dick eater. But this is Cannonball. It is a reimplementation of the OutRun engine, which I barely remember because it's that old.
That ate a lot of my pocket change when I was a kid.
Wow, I guess it
There was an arcade
still
machine.
the future in Portugal at the time. When was this, Pedro? 2002?
No, it was like 1993, 1994-ish.
All right,
Yeah.
check this out. It comes with smoother 60 FPS gameplay, true widescreen support, force feedback support, and, which I thought that was kind of neat to add that into that, considering you need the ROMs. New game modes, bunch of fun stuff. This thing runs on... Oh, he even opened Pandora. Ha! Zing! Linux Ubuntu, Linux OpenSUSE. But you need to pull the Git, futz with some CMake files, grab a ROM, compile all the business. So, it basically leaves your average Arch user out in the dust. Just saying.
Arch!
But that's a thing. I had fun with it. I mean, I futzed with it for, a good 10 minutes and realized that a game that you hate that much, it causes rage quit, is no fun unless you're actively feeding it money, kind of like people who donate to our show. So,
Indeed. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Say
pick
no more.
that
Say
business
no
up
more.
at github.com. There will be a link in the show notes, as we have said. So, J-Man.
Yeah, coming
Huzzah.
up next, we're gonna run down to the basement in our pajamas, get some sugary fucking cereal, and then throw some chairs at Saturday morning RPG.
All right.
I just peed my And we're back reviewing Saturday morning RPG. If you've been watching the live stream, and you should be watching the live stream, we were talking about 80s shit for the past little while, so that got us into the nostalgia mood. This is developed by Mighty Rabbit Studios. It's a Unity game. You can pick it up for $6.99. Does that say $5.99? I can't see. My eyes stopped working. And the gist of it is it's an RPG that takes place in a world that is a Saturday morning cartoon with a soundtrack by people who did music for Saturday morning cartoons, featuring weird 3D backgrounds with pixel graphics in the foreground. Hurts your brain. So, time to go on about our chair explanation. We have a cocked up review system that we use based on lawn chairs. 1 lawn chair means that it's really, really bad. 2 chairs means that 3 chairs means that it's pretty good. And 4 chairs means that Pedro's gonna not stop talking for about 15 minutes, going on about how much he loves it. So, we also have our categories of Doom. Every category is rated with out of a possible 4 chairs. We have mixed with working. How does it work? How does it run under Linux? And we have 3 people on 3 different distributions to test. We also have Shiny and Sounds, which is the auditory and the visual nonsense. And if that is pleasing. Controls are self-explanatory, as is fun. So let's get this started. Are you ready to transform and roll out, Ven? Did it make with the working?
Wait, Michael Bay. Lenswear.
No. You need more Shia LaBeouf.
Yes, brilliant. He retired, but he's back. No, did it make with the working? Well, testing it on our lowest possible denominator. Oh, get ready to take that shot, and tonight we'll be taking shots of Highland Ambush. Ubuntu 1204 LTS, 32-bit because that's why. Test system powered by Nvidia, 770 sweetness. It ran without an issue, man. I had no problems with it. It loaded, didn't do anything with a multi-monitor display. It was just awesome sauce in the simple fact that it didn't cock up. So, gonna be throwing 4 chairs in its face organ. Deal with it.
So, I have a bit of a more varied test rig. I got an AMD A10 5800K system that this game just outright crashes on after the first cutscene. And apparently this is a known issue. You can check it out in the show notes. They haven't updated it since. So, I actually switched to the 1411 beta drivers, and that didn't fix it either. So, they kind of fucked that shit up on there. On the Nvidia-powered 670 AMD system I have sitting at my feet here, though. By the way, both of these are running Fedora 20 64-bit. Didn't really have too many issues aside from it didn't pick up my monitor configuration, and I had to fix that through the prefs file. Couldn't do it through the menu. So, for that, 2 chairs. It works on 50% of my systems. It gets 50% of a score.
100% of the time. All right, P-Man.
Oh, yeah.
And on the lower end, on my 9-year-old now, desktop PC with an Nvidia 5600 EN, it ran out of the box, no problems. On my calculator, using the open source drivers for the ATI, because it's still an ATI 5650 HD, it also ran out of the box, so 4 chairs for me. Can't really complain about that.
Wow. That means that it gets... That's not right, is it? Oh, man, now I have to do math.
Beep, boop, boop,
Curse
beep,
you,
boop,
mathematics!
boop.
Yes, yeah. 2 chairs. 2 chairs for Mix with the Working. Now, up next is Shiny and Sounds. And Ben, I know you love hipster pixel graphics, so why don't you tell us about that?
Well, there is definitely one thing I am well known for, and that is my dying love and admiration of all things hipster, retro, pixely, and graphic-y. Told you God wasn't real. So, what I like to call this with the Shiny and Sounds is Skirting Copyright Simulator 2014, the game, because, man, they, quote-unquote, period it all. G.I. Joe's in here. Back to
Transformers,
the Future,
Transformers,
Care Bears, you name it, scissors, zebras, everything.
He-Man.
And
I said,
hey.
so then what's going on?
Hey, man, I'll tell you what's going on. With the sounds, I know the sounds are there. I couldn't really be bothered with them. I had a proper playthrough with this, and, screw this. Because I think if you're going to make something that's hipster pixel graphic-y, it could be no larger than 10 megs. All right? If you're going to do it right. So, it just barfed all over my eye pussies. Had nothing positive with it. It's just like, it's all been done before, and it will all be done again until this fad is over. I grew up playing this crap. I don't need to see it again. One chair. Go the Jordanite.
So Unity 3D textures mixed with pixels in the foreground really hurts my brain organ. It's just a weird disconnect. Didn't really have any issue with the music other than I had to hear it again and again and again as I tried various different things to stop this game from crashing on my AMD box to no avail. But I will say that I can't give it one chair because it's not a garbled mess. It's pretty close though. So this gets 2 chairs for actually having a working graphics substack. And that's it. Pedro.
Yeah, I have astigmatism is the reason I use glasses. My right eyeball is missing a couple of degrees in its circumference. So
tell us what else is wrong with you, Pedro.
I need the eyeglasses to correct that. But having that,
It'd be
I have
great
to
if this has
disable.
nothing to do with the shining sounds.
I have to disable ambient
I'm
occlusion
pissed off
in
about my
games because it
astigmatism.
creates the blurriness in some situations while the foreground is usually defined. And I can't deal with that. My eyes can't deal with that. It makes my eyes hurt. So when you make a game with blurry-ass characters and sharp pixelated backgrounds, it makes my fucking head hurt. One chair.
So did it make your head hurt?
Yes. Yes, it did.
All right, so that's 1 chair with shiny sounds. That's not looking too good. Coming up next is Control. Then
Yeah.
talk about the controls because I don't feel like coming up with something clever.
Well, here it is. Controls. What did I try it on? X-Clone controller. Out of the box, everything worked. Didn't have an issue with it. Except here's the thing. I can only imagine that some sadistic fuck at this company was see this D-pad thingy. Yeah, apparently one of these, like I don't know, molested his little sister or something, and he loathes it. Or something tragic happened to this man, because fuck these things. Because you're like, oh, power up, and you're doing this, and you're not rubbing one out. I mean, God help you, right? You're gonna annihilate it. And then the forum's like, well, you don't really have to do it, with a dead. I was like, bullshit. You absolutely do have to do that if you want to get all your little power uppy things. But outside of destroying any controller that you may have with a hat, it worked. It assigned correctly. No issues. Anything I wanted to futz with were easy enough to do. I'm going to give it what it deserves. 3 wet, stinky chairs.
Yeah, I found the controls responsive. I did really find it annoying that I basically had to do this.
Resort to NES cheating days, right?
Pretty much, yeah. It's just like, or when you're charging, you're going, you have to set the controller down on the table so you can hammer.
The first time you've ever sat down in front of a PC and like, damn, I need a turbo button.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So that's certainly a thing. I was honestly afraid I would break this controller halfway through playing it. The middle of a combat. It's like that GIF where the guy's driving and he pulls the wheel off. And anyways, I am gonna ding it a chair though, because fucking timing mini games for combat. No, just fuck that noise. But all together, 3 chairs for controls. And Pedro. Pedro's going to have an interesting perspective on this. Why don't you tell us about it?
He loved it.
This one doesn't work. I mean, it did something. Some of the buttons were responding to my presses, but for the most part, it didn't work. Tried it with the keyboard. Holy fuck, mother of unintuitive mess. It absolutely, it's all over the fucking place. It makes no sense. I played Final Fantasies 1 through 10 and 10-2, and I've never seen a control scheme so fucked up as this one. And also, fuck QuickTime events. Fuck them up the ass. One chair.
All right, well, that's 2 whole chairs for control. And our final subjective category. Then, did this tickle the inside of your butthole? Did you have fun?
Well, fun. Fortunately, that is subjective. Let's look at what we actually have here. This is about Marty, or Mart. I think he's got a hoverboard.
Marty McFly. He has a hoverboard.
Right.
Yep,
It's the power of love.
I think possibly his girlfriend was taken away, so now we have to go through this discombobulated, like duct taped together mess of
Saturday morning cartoons.
Things, right? I was like halfway through it, and I was like, why am I doing this? What's my motivation? Oh, right. The plot and the whole that's just a delivery mechanism for, like, look at all the nostalgia that tries to cover up all this shit gameplay. And I was like, right, there's only so many Care Bear fucking stairs I can do. And Transformers.
It's amazing how much the Care Bear stare sucks, too.
Oh, and the zebras, they're horrible. And, I mean, yeah, this would be like a fun Flash game for like 10 minutes of entertainment. Trying to turn this into a full-fledged thing failed so hard, Pedro's mum felt it. So, I mean, and that's all I have to say. I didn't have any fun with this, and I really tried, because I loathe the whole JRPG, action-y type, okay, we do this. Hey, you've met this one enemy, but he's 6, and you have to choose who to attack. And that whole system is like overly complex for what it's supposed to be, like a stupid, fun little game. I don't need strategy. I don't need to eat a cookie. I need to have some fun. Didn't deliver on that particular mechanism. So, boom, check that business. See, that's called vengeance.
In the words of the wizard who greets you in the first scene, I love the Power Glove.
Oh God,
it's so bad. Because you have to have Lucas from the fucking Wizard. Because everyone remembers that Fred Savage movie. Bo Bridges was in it. Kristen Slater was in it. It was an all
Super Mario 3 was in it.
Family film.
That was a big Nintendo commercial.
And went to that dinosaur park from Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Oh wow!
But as much as we love sucking Paul Rubin's cock on LGC, this game is honestly, I'm giving it 2 chairs for the nostalgia chuckles, and that's it. It doesn't really stand up on its own merits. The gameplay is fairly stale and repetitive. You have to jerk off your joystick every 15 seconds. And yeah, it doesn't really have much in the way of substance. It's entertaining. I played it for an hour and a half. I don't think I'm going to play it ever again.
Yeah. I like JRPGs. I do. Like I said, I played Final Fantasies 1 through 10 and 10-2.
I feel so
until
sorry
my eyeballs fell out, literally.
And your balls.
This particular game is not it, even though they claim it to be. It really isn't. It's another highbrow indie game that sort of tries to hide its shortcomings under the guise of parody. Unfortunately, it's not exactly parody either. It's just referencing. It's pop culture referencing, pure and unadulterated. And then there's the humor. Me, the giggling death, the guy who spends an entire episode of LGC laughing his ass off. I couldn't find any humor to be had in this game, even though it was pretty obvious it was desperately trying to be funny. One chair.
So that's one chair for fun. And if we total this entire train wreck up, we get one Saturday morning lawn chair for this Saturday morning RPG. Gentlemen, do you have any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. For this run, I mean, pretend like it was a door-to-door religious salesman that...
And answer it naked.
No, that's sexy. Now I got that stuck in my mind. But like most door-to-door religious salesmen, they just want your money, and they're going to give you a lot of bullshit in return for your effort. And that is what this game promises, and it delivers in spades. J-Man?
There are RPGs that use timing minigames for combat, and it's a good game. I'll just cite Legend of Dragoon as the one example of that. And if you wanted to remake Legend of Dragoon, I would play the shit out of that. But this is not Legend of Dragoon. This is nostalgia chuckles, plain and simple. The game has no real substance. The control scheme is really, really, really dumb. I can see how you could adapt the combat system to another RPG, and it might work a little better, but really, the whole is not greater than the sum of its
what if
parts.
you had characters that you gave a damn about, as opposed to just going through the motions?
Oh, okay,
Yep.
I am a fan of the Pokemon series of games where you give no shits about the main character. So I'm not the one to be asked that question.
You do give a shit about your Pokemons. The Pokemons
I do give a
are
shit
the
about
main
my
characters.
Pokemons. They're my only friends. But
Yeah,
anyways, Pedro,
so-
what are your final
and-
thoughts?
In this game, there's absolutely nothing that makes you want to care about anything that's going on. In fact, I couldn't get out of it any sooner. I didn't. It's. Stay away. Just stay away.
Stay away. And since Pedro can't do math, I guess I'll lead into the hate mail segment because he did screw up the mathematics for mix.
Yes, I did.
working. And I left it in there just to sort of taunt him. Coming up next, we make flapjacks for you because the blouses win on our hate mail segment.
Hate mail. Let's
Hate
do
mail.
it. Whee!
Game blouses.
And I think we've just about wrapped up that review with those chairs folded neatly back into place. How about we read the stuff you screamed in our direction over the past week? But
That's
before
an
we get to
idiotic
that,
idea. Let's not do that.
before we get to that, we'll get to that, I promise. But just a reminder, if you want to get in touch with us, just go to linuxgamecast.com, push the contact button on the navbar, fill out the form. It's easy enough. You just have to prove you're smarter than a bot. That's it. But if you're trying to promote your Indiegogo, Kickstarter, or the dying Steam Greenlight thing, just make sure to include a working Linux prototype, because if you don't, yeah, we'll probably just ignore you. So,
Let's get
well-
into this business. Now, you may remember last week, Vince kind of chimed in and he was like, YOLO bros, check this out. I got this new rocking Linux distro based on Fedora, ignoring software laws and all that fun business. And Pedro was like, oh, that's brilliant at 64-bit only. And he gave this dude the fuck-mothering Pepsi challenge. What was that challenge, P-Man?
the challenge was to get a specific wine game, Need for Speed World, to run on a 64-bit Linux distro, because from my experience, that shit didn't fly. But apparently, I was a bit out of date, because according to Vince, it works.
And also Strider from a chat realm who develops Lutris. He got it working in a couple days.
Yeah.
I think it was even one day.
So Vince comes screaming back in. You know, he set Pedro down, made some pancakes. And
Yeah.
he
He
says,
said,
"Thanks
thank you for your response.
I'm going to read it.
Yeah.
To
Go
my
ahead.
post regarding Chapeau Linux is a French thing. You just had to be there. Pedro dropped me a challenge which I could not refuse because it probably only took about 6 seconds to get it up and running. But he posted his whole thing. I mean, Pedro just like offhanded comment. He was like, if you get this running, I'll switch this distribution.
I didn't say that. I said I'd take it for a spin. And fair is fair. I will take it for a spin. In fact, next week, I'm probably going to install it on my old desktop PC, see how
So
it...
if you go to Chapeau Linux, he's got...
And then for the next review section, his mix with the working will be one share.
No.
And then the Chapeau project will, of course, die because Pedro.
Exactly, that's what you got to understand. Pedro likes to destroy distros that he's a team member of, like rhymes with Vinduntu. So I'm just going to throw this in your direction again, Vince. That wasn't an off comment. That was part of his long-term strategy to bring you down, man, and you bit. So, just warning you.
I just have one comment. Just one comment about his second to last paragraph. But finally, Need for Speed World. Really? Not a deal breaker game in my opinion, but who am I to talk? I'm still grinding away in Diablo 3. Yeah. I was the first person to submit the Diablo 3 to win a APPDB. And
look where that got through.
That's like being
it's not
in
a
first
very
place
good game.
at
At least Need for Speed World is fun. Just saying.
So, J-Man, what do you think the over-under on this distro going down after Pedro gets his hands on it?
I'm gonna say 4 months.
4 months? I'm gonna do the crazy wild ass bet on this, and I'm going to give it 9.
9 over 9 months.
Over 9,000. Terry. All right, this is how we lose.
Yeah, no, you have this title as Columbia. I wanted to go Brad, Janet, Frankenfurter, Rocky. But
Damn it,
apparently we can't do Rocky Horror Show references on LinuxGameCast. So he said, this is from our friend Magumbo in chat realm, otherwise known as Terry. He makes a game called Retro Booster. Quit his job at NASA because he's a crazy motherfucker. And he says, Fenton, period, Jordan, Pedro, thank you all for the support over the course of my game's development. I'm happy to finally be able to send you the whole damn thing. It'll soon be available from reallyslick.com, Humble Store, Indie Game Stand, and Desura. And he goes on to describe Retro Booster. It's basically a cave shooter, high skill. The guy fucking worked at NASA, so he has some very freaky ass physics going on there. I believe it's an entirely custom engine too.
Yep.
So that's the thing. He has invited us to review it. It's going to be $17.99 wet stinky, or you can pre-order it for $12 wet stinky before February 21. No DRM. That's always a bonus.
Indeed.
So,
bonus soda.
Yeah, we might throw some chairs at it.
But you should go out and support this guy regardless of our score. He worked really, really hard. He quit his job. He's a pretty cool dude.
He is. He's actually always hanging around when we're recording. Good guy.
So, Michael B. No homo.
No homo?
Let me see if I can put this correctly. Vin.
I'm going to blow my load all
job
over
you
your
have
insides.
and start doing voiceovers for movies or radio or something. All right. I've always been, like seriously tempted in like leaving my career in developmental child therapy, but that's where my heart's at, man. I could make a quick buck like that, but I like helping dysfunctional children. So, yeah, we'll definitely have to see where that goes.
Yeah. And with that,
Trainwreck, let's cue the music, because at the end of the day, take a shot. I'm Vin Stone at Vin Stone on the Twitter nets, and plus Vin Stone on those G pluses, and my heterosexual life partners will explain the same.
yeah, I am Jordan Svung. You can find me at The Burning Pool on Twitter or plus Jordan Svung on the Google Pluses. And finally, the Mexican.
The Mexican who could. No longer, though. I am Pedro Mateos. You can find me at Unaccounted For on Twitter or plus Pedro Mateos on Google+. Good luck, audio listeners, trying to get the spelling right.
Don't
It's not
let
like
them
they
get
can,
me.
it's not like they can just search your name in Google and find you.
So, you know, everyone at the Olympics, stay safe, stay away from Putin, and stay fabulous, my friends.
Stay glorious.
Where'd you get the flag?
Fabulous.